What's up, everybody? This is Fray bringing you a new audio commentary, copyright 2006 WCReplays.com. This game is going to be one of my own. It's only about 17 minutes long. I apologize for the shortness, but I don't know. The Night Elf games that I want to do, I actually started trying recording the audio, and there were too many things that I was kind of unsure of. So I wanted to probably get a lesson with Canuck or something and really learn the matchup for real before I try to bring you an analytical audio on a matchup, because I don't want to be bullshitting you guys and telling you the wrong stuff. So anyway, yeah, get this replay paused at the 2-minute mark from my base. I'm playing as FOHX Sister Ray. My opponent, Anonymity, had I think about a 30-10 win-loss record on the ladder at the time, so that's I think it's pretty damn good. I think this guy generally knew what he was doing, and I managed to beat him, so I'm all proud and shit. But what I'm going to be doing this time is going Crypt Lord Fiends versus Ghoul and Lich. I know that's kind of similar to the previous replay I did that was DK Fiends versus Ghoul Lich, but the Crypt Lord kind of changes things around a little bit, and he is absolutely my favorite hero, so I pretty much whore any chance I can to do an audio commentary on the guy. Let's hope you got this paused at the 2-minute mark. If not, hurry up, because I'm about to get rolling in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, this guy's sending a ghoul to harass my acolytes. It's just his, scouting ghoul. Really the way to get around this sort of thing, I usually like to grab both of my lumber ghouls and have them attack, and you see I'm circling my acolytes kind of around the mine, and then when they get halfway around the mine, you click them back onto the mine, and they jump back to the place that they were originally harvesting, so it basically allows them to kind of teleport away from the unit that's chasing them. So if you weren't familiar with that, it is an extremely useful technique for dealing with somebody that's harassing your acolytes. One of the things you can even do is hold shift and right click a path around the mine for the acolyte, and then continuing to hold shift click back on the mine, and they'll kind of execute the whole maneuver for you on their own. Okay, so I got rid of that ghoul, and now it's time to go creeping, because the Crypt Lord is the Creep Master. He can get level 3 really fast. Ideally, what I'd like to do at this point is creep the turtles that I'm doing right now, and the camp to the northeast of it, and then the gold mine, and that'd get me a pretty quick level 3. The reason that I pulled the turtles out of their spot a little bit is so that I can have my fiends in the back near my base. I'm expecting, since he came in with a ghoul to harass me, I'm pretty much assuming that he's going for lich ghouls or something like that, and he's planning to come harass me. So I wanted to get my fiends in a position where if his units came up upon me as they are now, that my fiends would be in the back, so that he wouldn't be able to Frost Nova 1, start hitting it with the skeletons, that sort of thing. Since I'm not playing Death Knight, I really cannot coil my fiends, so I really have to be careful with positioning and not let them take any damage. Reason I'm chasing his Lich at this point, not normally what you want to do with the Crypt Lord, I was hoping to jack his ghouls while they were creeping. See, this is the turtle camp, he's already done with that. I'm figuring he probably moved on to this camp here. He didn't, I believe if you take the Fogvor off, yeah, he just took his ghouls back to his base, and he's going to harass me now. But I didn't want to lose any more time creeping at this point, so I decided to go ahead and take care of this camp. You'll notice I left a beetle behind near my base. This is incredibly useful. One of the things that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to point out a couple times, is the ways that I was able to use beetles for scouting. He actually managed to rally jack one of my fiends here, but he kind of botched it. And actually, this is one of the mistakes that my opponent makes. I think he tried to chase this fiend all the way across the map when it was heading to my army. He would have been a lot better off if he had just run straight into my base and started harassing. That really that would have forced me to town portal, and it would have really slowed down my creeping quite a bit. Instead, he decided to chase a fiend that got away from him, and that was kind of foolish. So, my plan here is I'm gonna, like I said, I want to get to level 3, and these the big turtles will give me that. That's why I'm drawing the turtles back once again so that his units coming from his base wouldn't get right on top of my fiends at the beginning. However, now he's in my base and he's all over my gold mine, so I have to town portal back in. There's really no way around this. I could have done a little bit better job. One of the things that it's a good idea to do here is you can actually hotkey your acolytes, like keep them as a hotkey that you don't usually use much. I sometimes, if I remember, I put them as number 9, so that if they get into trouble, you can grab the whole group very quickly and run them away. I didn't do the greatest job of running my acolytes away, and his timing was very good, so I ended up losing, I think, about 4 acolytes right in the middle of my tech, so he's going to actually end up with a pretty big gold advantage because of that. Here I'm continuing to creep because, like I said, level 3 is really, really important for the Crypt Lord because beetles are just not all that useful until you get him up to level 2. They die really quick and they don't deal that much damage. Level 2 beetles, on the other hand, have burrowing and they're reasonably fat, so those work out pretty damn well. I'd also recommend getting a 6th acolyte before you start your tech because the chances of you losing acolytes without coil to save them is increased. So, by the way, I train, if you haven't heard my Crypt Lord audios before, I am a big fan of training Impale and Beetles. I don't actually train, I don't bother training Spike Carapace. I find that as a solo hero, or as as a starting hero, I really need the Crypt Lord to have his 2 big powerful abilities ready to go. You notice I let one of my fiends get into the red while it was creeping. That was a pretty big it was a mistake. That's not what you want to do with your fiends, especially when you're using Crypt Lord since you can't heal them. But rather than taking it into battle and letting it get killed, I'm going to just park it in the back of my base. What I wanted to do here was go ahead and push him, because now that I've got Burrow, it's going to force him to buy a Dust of Appearance, and I can basically pick a fight with him because I've got the beetles for extra meat, and I can pick a fight with him at this point and hopefully like kill off some of his ghouls and just slow him down in general, which is going to allow me to get to the deal is I want to get to tier 3 in relative safety and start getting destroyers going, because once I have the destroyer fiend combo, the fiends will protect my destroyers from his gargoyles for the most part, and the destroyers will kick the crap out of his ghouls. So as long as I can hold him off and get to that point in the game, I'll do pretty well. He decided to go ahead and fight me at this point. It makes sense because generally you do want to try and take out as many of your opponent's fiends as possible, like I said, so you can't get that fiend destroyer combo going. However, with the Crypt Lord in the picture and all of his summons, this is actually not really a very good time for him to have picked a fight with me. And I think this battle is pretty much where my opponent loses this game. So, if a lesson learned for ghoul people, if you guys are dealing with a Crypt Lord, right around like early tier 2, when he's got level 3 and about like 5 fiends with Burrow, that is not really the time to go sending your ghouls after him, unless you've built an absolute ton of them. Like if you have, I don't know, if you've made like 12 ghouls, you'd have a chance. But this guy only had about 8. I popped the lightning shield on him when they were running in, which I think actually, I watched the battle afterwards, and I think that hurt me about as much as it helped me. I'm leaving another beetle here in front of his base. I forgot to burrow it here, but this beetle is actually going to help me out a whole lot. Once again, when you're using the Crypt Lord, do not neglect the scouting capabilities of beetles, especially once they get level 2 and have burrow. This way, I'm going to know any time he leaves his base to go in the direction of mine, because I know in general he's in a position, being the ghoul user, is more in a position where he's going to have to harass me. Going out and creeping isn't really going to be the best thing for him necessarily, although I think that is exactly what he's going to do. And you'll get to see, go ahead and turn the Fog of War off and watch this as it goes. You're going to get to see that the Crypt Lord really does creep a lot faster. Crypt Lord and as do fiends creep a lot faster than a Ghoul Guard combination. Thing is, basically, just he got beat down, and I think he wants to back off and try and get his hero levels to a little bit more respectable point, and then come back to harass me some more. But he's having to do all kinds of, dancing and stuff. He's having to use his coil, probably to keep his ghouls alive. I just kind of plow through the camps, and I don't really have to think that hard about it, and I can also move through them pretty damn quickly. So go ahead and turn the Fog of War back on. You saw I got a Death Knight as my second hero. If I have the ability to get a second hero right when I get to tier 2, I didn't because of that. He had a good harass on me, and he killed off a lot of my gold, so that basically cost me the ability to get a second hero right at the beginning of tier 2. But if you really want to own the crap out of his ghouls with your tier 2 push like I did, you can try getting a Lich second, and the combination of the Beetles, Fiends, and Nova, he is really, really not going to be able to fight you, and in fact, you may be able to lock him into his base for quite a while you tech to tier 3. I've still got the superior army. I see him creeping, so of course I'm going to go for the Jack, and he's got to run. Had he had a little bit more patience in the in that tier 2 situation where he lost all those ghouls, that might not have been the case here. I actually may have been a little bit reluctant to start a fight with him. By the way, somebody asked me when I get level 5 with the Crypt Lord, do I go for level 3 Beetles or do I go for level 3 Impale? My answer was that I almost always go for level 3 Impale. I believe I saw... No, this guy doesn't have statues yet, but in general, when you go Crypt Lord, you can pretty well expect your opponent to get some kind of dispelling. If they very obviously are not getting dispel, you can go for level 3 Beetles, but like 90% of the time, I go for Impale as the third ability, just because usually he starts to get dispelling, and I've got to turn Beetles off when that happens. My opponent, I'm sure, noticed the fact that I creep jacked him. Thanks to that burrowed scouting beetle, I knew exactly where he was going. And one of the signs that I have that this guy actually kind of knows what he's doing is the fact that instead of whining and calling me a hacker, he figures, he's probably got a beetle or something in the front of my base and actually just popped the dust of appearance and found the thing. So good for him. A lot of lesser people would have just started whining and saying I was map hacking. At this point, I'm just I've got my group of fiends. Usually about 5 or 6 will do the trick, although you can get more. And I'm just kind of building up to destroyers at this point. As long as I can own the map right now and keep creeping, I'm going to do that. Once again, one of the things that you got to be aware of on both sides of this matchup is that the ghoul user is really the one that has the impetus to play aggressively. That's one of the reasons that I actually like playing fiends, is that I know that if there's not much fighting going on, it generally means I'm winning. I'm really just trying to find his army and pick a fight here, because all the creeps besides that one red camp in the bottom were pretty far away, and I didn't want to go running across the whole map. So now that I basically got my my last ziggurat up, so I'm ready to chain morph my destroyers. That's why I'm pushing into his base at this point, and trying my best to pick a fight with him. It's working. He's coming after me. And you can pretty much watch the fireworks. I basically, I look where I'm doing it, but I just shoot off impales whenever I get the chance. I think I brought a potion of mana with my Crypt Lord. If you haven't tried doing this, give it a shot. You may notice I backed my fiends off just a little bit. That's a pretty useful thing to do when the ghouls start getting on top of them. You don't have to do it. You really don't have to like back up that much, as long as you have a pretty decent advantage like I do here. Really, the Crypt Lord is not really for playing hit and run quite so much as the Death Knight. With the Death Knight, you really want to just do everything you can to to keep units off of yours. However, with the Crypt Lord, you kind of have free. You sort